Welcome back. Part 3 is the church and the mission of the believer. And what is the mission of the believer, Paul?
To get really uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm going to launch straight into a great quote. Sometimes, God comforts us so that we can comfort others.
Yeah.
But often to comfort others, requires us getting uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And when you think of Jesus on his throne in heaven, firstborn over all creation.
Yeah.
Starling.
Literally living his best life.
Yeah.
Literally.
And then the whole womb thing and the whole stable thing and the whole Jerusalem, Galilee thing and the cross.
The Galilee thing.
Just a lot of discomfort,
Gee, yeah.
And so, you think of the gospel, you think of prosperity, you think of healing, you think of wholeness, and you think of hashtag my best life, hashtag my blessed life.
Yeah. Not uncomfortable.
Generally not the popular sentiment, but that gospel demands sacrifice. So even though we're not sacrificing for our salvation or our acceptance,
yes,
we are following the one who lived sacrifice, And I think again, it's like when you just look at the whole kind of narrative of the book, it's good. Jesus is gracious. There's this open invitation, but there is this challenge element to it. It's like there is a lot to give up. Zacchaeus, there's a lot to give up. You don't get to follow Jesus and keep your cool. And so, what is the mission of the church? It's like I'm willing to be put out of place for the sake of someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sacrificial love that has been so demonstrated for us, that we live up to that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's hard, especially in this generation of selfies and Instagram and likes and look at me. I'm so good. I'm so great. I have all my things together.
Yeah.
I never have to be uncomfortable. In fact, being uncomfortable is something that I'm not good at and don't like.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I don't want to be uncomfortable. It's hard. It's hot in here. It's whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what is it that, how are we living? How are we bringing solutions? Because again, he references this generation of people who are just complaining about all the things, or, hashtagging, or, putting up a post about something. Oh, this is so bad. Okay. So what is the action to that? What are we going to do about that? And the mission of the church is to do something. So how are we living that out? And what's the plan, I suppose?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that thing of, I don't want to be known as the generation who brings awareness but not solutions.
Yeah.
And when you look at people, those kind of people, those Facebook, generally Facebook is Facebook seems like the platform for that for those kind of people,
Yes.
Which I think a lot of people leave Facebook for that very reason.
Yeah.
It's when people are just creating awareness, it's kind of like a look at me thing. I'm actually at the center of the story.
I know things.
Yeah, I know things. I'm woke. I'm whatever I am, and I need your attention in this moment. Please comment.
Yes.
Negative comments, welcome.
And comments.
Any attention is good attention. As opposed to the people that actually don't make the post but are out there looking for the solutions. And that's what Jesus,
we have
from birth to death, stable, not a grand entrance, not look at me. It was just this constant service, meeting the individual's needs. It was just this person-to-person ministry, so opposite to where we live.
And how things are going. Yeah. And he says this in the book, which I just found so profound. He says, projects can be managed, but people must be loved. And it's just so true. Like, what is the solution? To love one another, to like live as Jesus lived, put ourselves in uncomfortable situations, like be the friends that we can be, like Jesus is. Be the friends, mission of the church, be a friend.
Exactly.
Jenny Lloyd, my friend Jenny,
yes.
she always says, Bible says, to have friends, you have to be a friend. And that's the truth. Like, you have to make yourself friendly, show yourself friendly to be friends. Like, it's not hard. And I think we make it so complicated, we make it so hard.
Yeah. I mean, this thing of like discomfort. So generally we want to be friends with people that will add value to our lives.
Yeah.
Again, the gospel isn't like, that's not how the gospel rolls.
No.
Like, I will reach out and be your friend so that I can add value to your life.
Yeah.
Even at my cost. Like, I will pay your debt off. Like, adoption is the ultimate, like, read the book of Romans and it's just like, adoption is the illustration, and adoption was a massive thing in Rome as well. Like, but you think of adoption. So there are those families that adopt because they have no children of their own, and that
yes.
And so it's still an amazing thing to do. Yes. But then there's those families that have their own children and out of compassion and out of a need, not their own need, somebody else's need.
Yes, exactly.
They are motivated and moved to adopt a child or multiple children. Like, I think of those families where their children have grown up and left home, and now
they've just got this empty house. Yeah,
break time, people.
Break time.
School's out for summer, and
parents,
and then they. And then they adopt these little kids, and they've got another 18, 20 years raising little kids into their old age. Like, for me, you struggle to find a better picture of the gospel. Like, or where people take in like other people that are struggling into their home. So I've had friends, and sometimes this has been maybe unwise of them, to be honest, but where people are so sold out for Jesus that they take struggling people that are maybe struggling with addiction into their home with their young kids. Like, it's just this thing of being made radically uncomfortable for the sake of seeing someone else flourish.
And I think there comes such a reward with that, because there's this testimony afterwards of like, you get to see this process of this person growing and changing and, becoming more like Christ themselves.
Yes.
That's our reward. We get to see that. We get to see that testimony. Do you know what I mean? Lived out through these people who've been adopted. Do you know what I mean? Like,
exactly, yeah.
And it's hard. It's hard to be that person who takes someone into their home. It's hard to live that out. And yet there's such a reward in it in the end. Great pain, great process.
Exactly, yeah.
But rewarding. And that's our mission, surely.
Totally.
Yeah.
Which is why you have to think.
No, Paul's thinking.
I'm thinking, people.
Oh, no.
Careful, fire's about to start.
Oh, no.
What did he say about someone that has an experience has a lot more to say than someone that has an argument?
Yes.
Again, bringing it back to the generation who creates awareness but not
solutions. Yeah.
It's like if we're just saying we're against this or we oppose this or we don't agree with this and shouting out our opinions
from our soapbox,
but doing nothing to change things, nothing to help anyone, we have no authority. Like, the only person who ever has authority is the person with a testimony.
Yeah.
Like, and I think given our the social media age, I think we've got to be careful as the church, as Christians, not the church, as believers, like you and I, and everyone below us, age-wise. Not that I don't even know how old you are, but whatever. But
it's not an appropriate conversation for this forum.
How old you are? Just kidding. But this generation needs to, is in danger of becoming that and losing their authority. The same generation that cries out for authenticity is the one that's not living
the
it.
least authentic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because authenticity only comes with experience and only comes with stories to tell. And I think that's a major challenge out of this kind of part, the end of the book, around the mission. I think we need to do more than we talk.
Yeah.
And sometimes we can want to appear clever.
For what?
For what? For what exactly?
Yeah.
You alluded to something that was going to...
Did I?
You alluded to process.
Yeah.
Difficult process, which brings us to what chapter in the book?
Process?
Chapter 10. Yes, about greatness. What's the title of the chapter? Something about greatness, true greatness. So, greatness is more about the journey than the destination.
Yeah.
And so often we want to be known as these influencers. Let's use social media language. I want to be an influencer. I want to have 1 million followers, and I will throw a scripture on my feed, and I will be an influencer for Jesus.
With a selfie, though.
With an amazing selfie, because I've been working out and I'm on a special diet.
Exactly.
And, I look good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm going to hashtag a scripture because
I influence people. That's what I do. I can't help but not, So, but don't you dare give me a process to actually become someone that influences by my testimony and the story I tell of what I've done through my life. And because of our immediate gratification, fast food, faster internet, please, no traffic. I'd rather just Uber Eats. You just bring it to me. Just bring it to me.
I don't.
Take a lot. Thanks very much. Everything is just
not
made so convenient.
Not necessarily bad things.
Great things. Thanks. Let's not cancel those.
Yeah, please.
Let's not cancel them.
Please.
But how that affects our expectation of life is ridiculous, because we expect to just have influence, have authority in arenas where other people have had to live their whole lives in order to get where they are. You just don't gain any wisdom without it.
100%. And this is also coming back to the process. I read Pete Portal's book. Do you know? Anyway.
Good name though, great name.
Great.
Love that name.
And he's written a book, No Neutral Ground, which is also good. You should read it. But in his book, he talks about process always precedes the promise.
Yeah. Okay.
And so he talks about all these things that he's gone through and how there was this promise from God on his life. But he had to walk through this process in order to get there, And I think sometimes we miss that in our lives and being friends and, are we walking through the process to get to the promises of God? Salvation and grace and amazing things. I'm not saying they're not, but there is this process of becoming more like Jesus.
Yes.
In that walking out.
Yep.
And that's so important for our friendships and being friends of sinners,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, just because Jesus accepts us as he finds us, he doesn't leave us there. That was not his intent. So he's still he now wants to lead us. He says, follow me, because I'm going to lead you through a process where I'm going to, hopefully, if you follow me, I'm going to make you the person I destined you to be. And that person is someone of influence, someone of authority. Just read the Bible. You can't get away from it. Joseph.
Just read the Bible.
David, king without a crown for I don't know how many years.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Laid down his crown, came to earth, crown of thorns.
We should not be surprised. That's what we're saying.
It's everyone.
It's everyone.
It's everyone in the Bible.
All throughout the book.
It's process.
Yeah.
So Moses. And then with Moses, you think, oh, wow, his trajectory is good. Baby, Egypt.
Yeah.
High up. Oh, desert.
Wait a second. Took a slight right turn there, but came full circle in the end.
And his greatness didn't look like what we thought. His greatness ended pre-promised land. That offends me. I don't understand that. I don't even want to go there. I've gone there.
He's gone on a tangent.
This thing of process and we just cannot expect to get where God intends us to be and have that influence without just submitting to a process and surrendering on a process. And
absolutely.
Just taking it on the chin a few times. Like, you're not going to get there without taking a couple of beatings.
Yeah. And I think it's also, it's not information people want to have.
Yeah.
That's not something somebody wants to hear. Like, become a Christian, join us. It's so great. Oh, it's going to be so hard. Like, this is going to be so tough, and you're going to have to learn things and bump your head, but you're not alone. I think that's the point. It's like, life is difficult anyway. The journey is difficult anyway. Would it not be great to lean on the creator of the universe?
Yeah.
Just as a thought,
exactly.
Like as an option, you know? And I think if people get so like sidetracked by that thing, like, but it really is just about relationship with God at the end of the day. That's what we're after.
Yeah. And then even the thought of like, oh, this is hard. God can't be in it.
Yeah.
Whereas sometimes God will actually lead you through that so that you become who he made you to be. And again, what he says around like when we embrace the approach that our lives are service to others, we live for the sake of others.
Service,
I love what he says was it? Our wounds can become someone else's wisdom. Our hurts can become someone else's healing. Our breakdown can become someone else's breakthrough. So the things that, like, inheritance is hard won. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Any inheritance, somebody has worked for it and somebody has just scored.
Yeah.
And so when we live to give other people an inheritance, that's exactly what it is. We work, we bear the brunt, we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, and we come out the other side, and yet we've charted waters, we've charted a path
we
for
know
others
things now.
to,
we know things now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And for other people to walk their journey, we've like bushwhacked for them. You know, we've created the path, we've opened up a way. That's what it is to be a Christian. That's what Jesus literally did. Died on the cross, rose again, conquered death, and now we
live that.
We live in life.
Yeah.
We don't have to conquer death. It's been conquered. We just live in that life.
That's crazy. So, It's not crazy. It's crazy, eh?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Scandalous, some would say.
Some might say scandalous. Scandalous.
Too often, we are so distracted by our pursuit of greatness that we forget that true greatness is simply helping people. Summarizes the book, right?
Yeah. Quote of the book.
It's like, it just takes all of this content and simplifies it to one thing.
Are you going to read it again?
It's about people.
No.
We're so distracted by our pursuit of greatness. I want to be great. I want to be influential for God. I want to be everything he's called me to be. How do I do this? Da-da-da-da. Actually, he just says, well, how did Jesus accomplish it? He just saw the person in front of him and revealed the heart of the Father to them.
Yeah. There was one quote in this book that I really loved. It says, Jesus did not come to make good people better. He came to make dead people alive. And that's it.
Yeah.
It came to make dead people alive. That is the point. There are dead people walking around everywhere, not living full lives.
Yes.
And Jesus came to restore them.
Yeah.
That's just so beautiful. I love that. Yeah. That's me.
So am I representing you well to say that you enjoyed this book?
Yes, I loved this book.
It did your soul good?
It did.
This book did my soul good. It reminded me of what it's all about. It's kind of like shaving. It just takes off all the stuff that doesn't belong. I think it just brings us back to the purity of the heart of God is for people.
Yeah.
And so I encourage Christians who have walked with Jesus for many years to read it and let maybe it'll just declutter your mind, your soul. I encourage those who are walking closely with someone you may be trying to lead towards Jesus. This is a book you can lend to them. It'll help them on the journey. And definitely, if you are watching this and you are curious about who this Jesus is, I feel like this book will introduce him to you